are beautiful West Sussex, home to stretches of picturesque coastline and wonderful countryside, dominated by the magnificent South Downs National Park. With bustling villages, lively urban towns, a historic cathedral city, and a busy international airport, our county is dynamic, varied, and unique. But who is responsible for the running of our essential council services? Who maintains our roads, runs our libraries, organises our schools, delivers our fire service, and arranges our recycling? Who provides support to those most in need? To understand this, we must first explain how local government works within our local communities. Local democracy across England is structured in different ways. In West Sussex, we have what is known as a three-tier system of local government. This begins with the County Council, responsible for strategic services across the whole of the county, such as education, social care, roads and waste disposal. Then, we have 7 district and borough councils, responsible for services such as housing, local planning and waste collection. Then, for most areas, there are 158 parish and town councils, which provide local services, such as allotments and play parks. All these councils work in partnership with other public bodies to plan and coordinate local services. Each council has councillors who are elected by residents to represent a particular area. It's their job to take important decisions about how to best spend local taxpayers' money on funding and providing vital local services for residents and support for local businesses in a fair and democratic way.
Local government is about delivering critical services, whether it's in waste collection, whether it's in adult safeguard, in concerns, or whether it's in children's social care and education, to name but a few. One of the other roles of local government is to lobby national government around critical challenges that they need to be involved in. As a leader of the County Council, I lead on the executive group, which we call the Cabinet. Our job is to set the strategic goals, working with the Chief Executive and the senior officers, and we will set what the council priorities are, and we will also ensure that our funding delivers those outcomes.
West Sussex County Council spends around £750 million per year on vital public services. This money comes from a mixture of government grants, council tax, fees and charges for some services, and business rates. More than half of this public money is spent on supporting vulnerable adults and children, as well as services to support schools. It also helps to fund essential services such as waste disposal, roads, libraries, fire and rescue services, public health, and much more. The council spends money on behalf of its residents, so it's essential it is transparent on where the money is being spent. And whilst the Cabinet takes most of the big decisions about services, all councillors will be involved in these plans and decisions, and in setting the council's overall budget for spending public money. Councillors are there to represent the interests of local people, to ensure communities get the support and services they need. It's not an easy job, but it is an important one. In West Sussex, county councillors each represent around 12,000 residents within a local area called a division. Together, they represent 880,000 or so residents of the county. County council elections are held every 4 years. Following an election, the political party with the most councillors will usually form an administration and appoint a leader. Those not in the majority political party will make up the minority parties, and there may also be independent councillors who aren't in any political party. If there isn't an overall majority after elections, coalitions may be formed. Like national government, the leader of the council appoints and chairs a cabinet made up of elected councillors, each with their own specific areas of responsibilities.
Process of election, you can either stand as a political candidate with a political party, or you can stand as an independent. Once you've gone through that process with the parties or as an independent, it's then a case of going out, speaking to residents, gaining their support, in the hope that when the time comes, that they turn up to the ballot box, they put enough ticks next to your name and hoping that you're successful. So the responsibilities of a county councillor is to go to meetings, and they are generally during the day. It's also to respond to resident inquiries that normally come through via email, but you could get a telephone call. It's about also going to local community events, being visible, being out in the community. But I think generally it's about being that local champion for your area.
So the role of a councillor is really important, because if residents aren't getting any luck with their local council, the whole point of the council is to step in there and make sure they get at least heard, if not acted on, for the good of the resident. So a full county council meeting involves all 70 councillors from across West Sussex coming together and representing the views of the local community. So it's either debating issues that are coming up. It can be something quite menial, which is looking at the minutes of a meeting or changing the wording of a document. But there's also a lot of big decisions that come to that full council meeting, and it gives every councillor the chance to have their say locally.
West Sussex has 70 county councillors, and there are many more district, borough, town and parish councillors working within an area of their community, all with the shared interest of making a positive, lasting impact.
We need local government and we need local councils, because it's those councils that deliver critical services for our residents and our businesses. We also need county councillors who are representatives of those residents and businesses, and it's critical that we understand those local challenges that our residents raise with us.
I decided to stand for election as a county councillor in 2021 because I'm a passionate believer in local democracy, and if you don't have people who are willing to step forward for these roles, then who's going to do them? So there's a little bit of if not me, then whom.
Personality traits that make a good councillor. The first one is patience. Whatever you do, inevitably it takes time. It's a big organisation and it moves slowly. And I think you need to be patient and optimistic and work with everybody, and you can make things happen. You need to be a really good listener. You need to be able to hear the issues that are affecting your residents and then be able to reflect those concerns at the county hall. And the final thing I think you need is, whatever your background, knowledge of expertise, you need to have good judgment and be able to listen carefully, read carefully all the sides, and take an evidence-based approach, and then you'll make good judgments. And it's those judgments that are decisions that are going to affect all the residents, so it's important.
To be a councillor, you've got to be a people's person. You need to be able to talk to your residents, listen to them and act on their concerns. Bring their concerns to full council at West Sussex. So those are the most important parts of being a councillor.
Essentially, I stood because I felt that I could actually make a difference, and I could be the voice, if you like, for some people in Selsey who felt that they were disenfranchised and hadn't been listened to. That was why. It is absolutely possible to do it, and I would say if you are motivated and you want to make a difference, then absolutely you can do it.
Some people think that being a county councillor is only for those who are perhaps retired, don't have caring responsibilities, but actually that's not the case. Several of us work, several of us have children, have other caring responsibilities, and it can work quite well because the calendar is set a long time in advance, and there's flexibility about the way that you attend meetings. A lot of the meetings can be done online, or you can catch up on briefings afterwards at a time that suits you. So it can fit quite well around family life and around working. I do both. I have a family, I work, and I can still be a county councillor.
Standing to become a councillor with that real interest in residents is what it's all about.
Could you make a positive difference within your local community? After all, local democracy starts with you. Find out more at westsussex.gov.uk/be a councillor.